Hey guys, it's Faces Sims, and we are back with more Virche Evermore, continuing Mathis's despair ending, tragic ending. Sorry, my screen went dark. I had to update my capture card. Or not my capture card, my recording software. So again, like I just updated this like 3 days ago, but whatever. So anyway, continuing now that I know Jean is Camille. This was a twist I did not see coming. Jesus. This is only the first route. Oh, fuck. Oh, God. Okay. Oh. I feel like we're getting down to the wire just because we're in chapter 4, and I think there's only 4 to 5 chapters, so. Plus, we're kind of at this crux, like, I don't know where we could go from here, because it's not like when you're getting a despair ending. I mean, I would assume the salvation ending, if it was going to be happier, might continue longer, but I don't know. Like, where are you going to go from here to make it worse? Oh, God. You know what? I don't want to ask that. We'll be here for 12 more hours making it worse. Let's not. Anyway. Oh, John is Camille. Fuck, dude. There you have it. I'm the person behind the missing prostitutes, Camille Claude. That is the truth behind my beloved Rosalie. And now he's Jean again. How was it? A sweet little love story, better than the plagiarized one, right? It was a love story with a tragic ending. It's gonna be this whole game! Damn it. Oh. There was nothing for us to say. As if confident that we wouldn't get away, he removed all of Mathis's restraints, except for those that bound his ankles. As for me, he didn't even bother tying me down with a rope. He must have known that I had no intention of escaping now, because the person in front of us looked mad as he told the story of his lost love with a strange sense of happiness. Beneath the Claude family mansion was a hidden chamber used for experiments. Inside was a large tank filled with beautiful flowers and water. Camille walked over and gently brushed his hand over the glassy surface. Isn't my darling more beautiful than words could express? Oh God, there is something in that tank. I saw the flowers and stuff, and only just now did I notice there was like a shadowy shape. It's very, like, you can kind of see a head, shoulders, and then it's a blob because of her dress, obviously. My beloved Rosalie, the most beautiful woman in the world, who was killed by petty jealousy. Inside the tank filled with water and flowers was a woman sleeping peacefully. No, to be specific, I knew exactly who was submerged inside. She's Rosalie. Her pale skin showed no signs of warmth. It was very clear that she'd been dead for a while. That's... oh, even more... okay. I didn't ask how much more fucked up this was gonna get, but we went there. Oh. I could only guess the stab wounds he spoke of were hidden under her dress. I hate that you're crazy and you have your dead girlfriend in a tank because, like, he's so goddamn beautiful. I can't help it. I will excuse the crazy. I'll excuse the psycho because I love... again, listen, I'm just gonna... can we do an experiment to separate Jean from Camille and, like, take Jean with us? Can we just... we can do this, right? We've got the technology. I think we can. Let's... I've got the technology in my brain. I'm gonna separate the two. Because, like, Jean was our perfect butler prince. Oh. I love how fucked up this is. I love how just this alone, it's not even our love interest, and God knows what's gonna happen. Jean being a psycho underneath who's got his dead girlfriend in a tank and has done all this horrible shit is actually hurting me the most right now. Like, no, but he was so precious. I thought he was gonna die. I thought that was gonna be the worst thing that could happen to him, and then the game did this. Like, oh no. Oh no. It was hard for me to accept reality, so I finally took an interest in this blasted reliver technology. I want to see Rosalie again, even if it means breaking our promise. But Rosalie planned to die with her love for me, so she didn't upload a backup. I was able to secure her body somehow, but nothing could be done about the memories that made her my Rosalie. So what resulted was him preserving her cold body in that tank. It's like, okay, if you took out the psycho stab, even the stab of the prostitutes, if you just take out everything he did to Mathis, does it say Ma Chérie Rosalie in the background on the fucking wall? You could see the ma shit, but I'm assuming Ma Chérie. You know, isn't that my love, right? And then Rosa. Oh my god, good god, he's crazy. Okay, but even if you took out, like, if you took out the psycho shit he's doing to Mathis, the, like, you pretending to be the butler, okay, that's a little crazy, but okay. Stabbing the prostitutes, alright, that's because of revenge for what they did to your girlfriend, and then the desperation of putting her in this tank and everything, like, you kind of feel for him. You're like, no, and it's because I just like Jean so much that, like, I'll give him a pass, but it's sad, and you're like, I can't really blame you for revenge and stabbing all the prostitutes that were associated with her because you didn't know which one actually killed her, maybe. So, like, you snap, like, okay, because Mathis was going over there going to kill Boro for having killed Camille, who he didn't actually kill at all. But I mean, so, like, I can't blame him for revenge. We've played enough revenge plots. We've had enough revenge backstories and stuff, so I can't blame you for that. You're not just... And because we're going to give Lucas a pass for doing whatever kind of stabbing he's doing and destroying all the people he is. And that seemed way more psycho, at least now, right now, with Jamil. We at least understand his stabby reasons, and you're like, I understand it. And I feel for you because it's a sad story and you're a psycho, but, like, you just need a hug, But then you're kind of torturing Mathis, and, like, I just don't get that level of, like, psychosis that you're dealing with, Like, poor Mathis. Then again, I already knew by now that this person wasn't normal at all. It wouldn't give up so easily. I gotta be honest, though, his devious face is like... I like his sweet butler persona better, but he's still hot. It's so hard. It's so hard. How did you feel when you got to this point? How did you feel? Like, were you like, nope, fuck you, light you on fire? Or were you like, if you loved Jean as much as I did, were you like, nah, I'll give you a pass, it's okay. I'm torn now, because the psycho thing, like, we're into the stabby psychos, let's be real, we like trash. You're definitely trash, but, like, it just makes me sad because I want to separate them as two different beings. You know what I mean? You're two different people. I mean, you are essentially two split personalities in a way. Like, the only reason I like Camille is because he's got Jean's face. If you didn't have Jean's face, then I don't know how I'd feel. But you have Jean's face, and I'm attached now. Damn it. Well, he's going to be able to gaslight me into staying. No. Anyway. If there's no known way of reviving Rosalie back as herself, then I simply need to resort to untested methods. Crazy, but okay. I will do it, even at the expense of other people's lives. His eyes were swimming in madness. Bill continued to speak in detail about the truth behind his lies and his hope of reuniting with his beloved Rosalie. I mean, I just gotta be honest. I just want someone to love me enough that they're gonna literally lose their motherfucking minds and start stabbing prostitutes for me. Okay. Maybe not in reality, but, like, when you take the fantasy into it, you're like, I mean, that's intense. In the reality of that would be horrifying. You're like, okay, I need you to simmer down just a little. Love me within normal means, but we're in a fantasy world, so yeah, okay. In order to revive Rosalie back to her own... Oh, okay, no, we're Camille. In order to revive Rosalie back to her own self, I went to the Institute to find anyone who would share their knowledge with me. But no one would help, and I returned to the mansion in grief. One day, I received a letter from an unnamed soul who offered to assist me in my research efforts. You think it was Dahut? Because it probably wasn't Cyan. Because Cyan's like, I want that fucking camera back. I know he has it. And even though Cyan is like a lazy hot mess, I kind of feel like he's got his principles. And whoa, I wouldn't just be selling off reliver technology because that's my shit. Mine. You know what I mean? I feel like he'd be a little possessive and clingy about the technology he created. And, I don't know if he'd be black market dealing. But anything's possible. I kind of feel like, though, his route would then be trying to uncover who's selling it. Hi, as we know, all of a sudden from this, I'm like, I don't trust our side characters now. So Hugo's probably going to stab Eve in the back. And that's going to hurt too, man. Because I like our side characters. They've all been great. And now one out of the several that we've known is a psycho. So I just assume they all are. Oh, God. Anyway. The stranger gave me the technical knowledge and equipment required to implement reliver technology. And so this mad laboratory was created. Recreating her body was one thing, but all efforts would be meaningless without a backup of her memory. So that's a recreation. That's not her actual body. I was taught the basic... Well, he said I got her actual... Or no, did we say that? How he got her body? Well, whatever. I was taught the basic knowledge to create false memories by both my benefactor and another aspiring researcher. The rest I did on my own, and by stealing the memory data from the Institute, I succeeded in recreating Rosalie's memory. The rest was for me to properly nurture her artificial memories through my experiments. That's why he created... Yeah. And the body I used to nurture that memory was... for Mathis. Body you used was... me? Wait, so the reason Mathis's personality changes sometimes is I feel like it runs in the family, even though we're not genetically related, and Mathis is just a science experiment, but Camille's personality flips back and forth between sexy proper butler and psycho Camille, so I'm just saying. Are you sure he's not a real boy? Because my personality is influenced by the different memories implanted in me? This is a really great first route to start on, though, because, what the fuck? Like, shits. If it gets more intense from here, I mean, Lucas is a stabby murderer, so... And that means, brother, Jean, those happy memories are all... That's right. They're fake memories that I cobbled together. The parents who abused you, your desire for revenge, your dear brother, your loyal butler. None of them really existed from the very beginning. Which would explain why Boro was so confused when he heard Mathis's angry accusations. As for Jean, he disguised himself with clothing and a different personality to keep the neighbors unaware of his true identity. Disguised himself with clothing. So he basically just put on a butler uniform and a different accent, and they were like, oh, he looks like Camille, whatever, butler. You know what? I don't know if I should, make fun of him for thinking the Clark Kent effect was gonna work, or we should laugh at the fact that rich people would absolutely be bamboozled by the Clark Kent effect of, I just put on a butler uniform so they stop looking him in the eye because he's just a lowly butler, and that's how he could walk around without anybody fucking noticing. That is ridiculous. No, Pete. What you said is impossible. Even if you could create a fake memory, the memory would have to be downloaded into a clone that matched the memory, or the clone body would die. Oh, but you know that where there's a will, there's a way. He also did say you were created from, cells from all the murdered prostitutes, right? So, the normal reliver process requires matching genes, but you were cultured differently. Huh? There's actually a way to incorporate someone else's memory into a body by including it before the body is formed. Oh my god. Oh my, we're not getting to Mathis was actually Camille's, baby. This is actually his son, and then he just grew him faster with, Miracle Grow. You know what I mean? I think the young lady here knows what I'm talking about, since she's spoken to that mad scientist. Science? Spacey, what did he tell you? Oh, God! We're like, what, 15 minutes in and it just keeps getting weirder! Now that he mentions it, it was back at the Institute when there was some commotion about memory backups going missing. Again, how long has Jamil had this? They just noticed? Been missing for a while. I feel like Cyan knows that Camille might have, or suspects that Jean has the stuff because he had the camera, and so he's like, huh, you have the camera, that's really suspicious that it was stolen, and then we had other stolen shit. You know what I mean? Because Cyan isn't stupid. He's lazy, but he ain't stupid.
For example, prenatal education. You must have heard of some techniques before.
Okay. Mathis is either the goddamn baby that is Camille and Rosalie's fetus, that he somehow grew to a real boy age overnight or whatever, or he literally grew a fetus somehow from all the different cells, from all the different. Oh, dear God. I don't know how this is going. Oh, dear. Oh, no. Yes. Like how a pregnant woman might play music or tell stories for the fetus to listen to. I heard those kinds of things can affect the baby's personality and even their memory.
Exactly. And this suggests downloading memory data to a cell as part of its prenatal education before life is fully formed.
So you're saying it's possible to have a baby born with someone else's memory? Oh, God. And that's what we suspected was happening to Mathis, but oh no. That's what Cyan said to me before. Oh, by the way, Jean, he also said he wants that camera back, you dumbass motherfucker. Forgot to tell you that. But anyway, back to this. Needle education. Before life is formed. It can't be. Oh, God. Oh, God. You were born with artificial memories and cells provided by many, many women. That made me think that he created him in the lab fully, but I don't know if the basis. That makes me concerned, though. See, so I mean, that was my original thought when he said that, but now I'm still concerned that he's like, well, I actually needed a fetus to start with, so I used Rosalie's bit. But like you're psycho enough that you would use your own baby? You know what I mean? Oh God, that would have been a fucking twist. You are my cute and foolish failure of a homunculus. Yeah, that made it sound like he 100% created him in the lab, not he took a fetus and then enhanced it in the lab, you know? You spread the rumor about this deliverer in order to lure out prostitutes? Correct. Oh, I'm sorry. Correct. Camille gave an eerie grin. It's weird when they go back and forth to Camille and Jean. He then looked at me as a woman no different from his victims. His eyes looked over not my face, but rather a place lower. Oh! My abdomen. Oh, I knew it!
And this suggests downloading memory data to a cell as part of its prenatal education before life is fully formed.
Well, I'm not worried that we're pregnant, but I'm worried what Camille's gonna do here. Back then, oh no! Back then, this is the bad ending, and oh god, oh god, oh god, the trigger warnings are. Oh no! Cyan's vagueness about this cell wasn't because it was difficult to explain. A pregnant woman's able to nurture an embryo inside her body. It's there that I can download someone else's memory before the cells take the form of a fetus. You are my one and only success, born through repeated trials and sacrifices. It was because the experiment he was referring to was beyond even what Cyan would discuss. Jean cruelly went on to say that Mathis never had a childhood and was born only a year ago. Oh, well, that makes our relationship with him even more disgusting. Not he's a year younger than us, he's only a year old. Ah! But he ain't a real boy, so I guess it's okay. He's like a robot. He's squishy and made of flesh and blood, but, you know, he might as well be a robot, so I guess it's alright. I'll give you that. Listen, as far as inappropriate age gaps goes, he's not real, so. And also, we're gonna have an inappropriate age gap, a really wildly huge one with us and Cyan, but he's an 80-year-old man in a 20-something-year-old body, so I give it a pass. So, I instinctively placed my hands over my belly as though to protect it. Yeah, because I get the trigger warnings and I don't. Look, I love you, Jean, but please don't. Oh, dear God. He was completely mad. Realizing the sacrifices made for him to be born, Mathis crumpled to the floor. Yeah, he's not going to recover from this. No, 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 no. Stop. I don't want to hear anymore. Why? Why was I born? What's my life? Camille slowly walked toward Mathis and looked him in the eye. Don't deny your own existence. Isn't it obvious? He smiled gently, patting Mathis on the shoulder. You were born so I could revive my darling Rosalie. You are my expendable guinea pig. Oh. Mathis had finally reunited with... No. He finally met his brother for the first time, coming face to face with his sinister smile. I think it's even more sad that he was like, my brother, my wonderful, lovely, and his brother's actually just been doing experiments on him and gives no fucks about him whatsoever, and he always had these that's awful. Jesus Christ. I could almost hear Mathis's heart shatter into a million pieces. Yeah. Oh. Perhaps he didn't have any tears left to cry. Mathis dejectedly looked down to the floor. Meanwhile, Camille looked down at Mathis without any concern whatsoever. Can't speak, can you? I know I was the one who created the memories to make him like this, but I can't help but be amazed by how boring he is. I glared sharply at Camille on Mathis's behalf. Hey, stop glaring at me like that. I have no intention of harming women who aren't pregnant. You might not think so, but I have good reason to glare at you. I have no reason in harming women who aren't pregnant, so how did you know that every single prostitute you killed was pregnant? You killed a bunch of prostitutes. I mean, I guess the chances of the prostitute being pregnant. We don't know how birth control works in this. Okay? We don't know. We don't know if do they have condoms in birth control? Do they just do the pull-out method and they just cross their fingers and hope that worked? You know what I mean? We don't really know. Are the women so down with they're like, I know my cycle, I know and I'm cool with it because, let's be real, even if you, even with the tracking app, even if you know periods are fucking weird and sometimes shit just happens earlier or later, so, 9 times out of 10, maybe you're safe, but that it's one time's all it takes, man. Okay? So, I mean, you gotta figure that the prostitutes probably have maybe at least a bastard kid out there or so, but, how does he know every single one of them is pregnant? Sorry, hold on. Is he okay? I hope everything's... No, I might get a little more emotional when we get to the sad parts because my tiny bird, my little parakeet, he's not doing so good. So I left Neelix downstairs with him because he can't balance well. I think both of his feet are getting weak, so he doesn't grip well and he falls. He falls a lot. So I got a lot of perches and stuff on the way for him. Right now, flat perches. I'm gonna have to. His cage is 2 pieces on top of each other, so it makes it really tall. I'm gonna have to lower it down, take the bottom piece off, lower it down, put a lot of flat perches so he can get around easier because he can't really grip, but he can walk fine. But it's just the problem of sometimes he just falls and I could just hear him flying around. So I'm and sometimes he actually just flies. He'll fly to the couch still and come over when I'm having snacks because he wants snacks. So sometimes he's perfectly fine, but he's just getting worse over the last couple of days, and I'm all right, I gotta make him as comfortable as possible because I don't think he's long for this world. And now when I hear him flying around, I'm gonna go check on him and make sure he's at least on his cage or something because I hear my other bird chirping a lot, and he usually chirps like, hey, bird's here, he's lost, so I'm just gonna go check on him, so I'll be back in a second. Okay, he's fine. He's fine. He flew around and he was back on the cage, but he was hanging on the side of the cage. And the cage is hard enough for him to navigate if he is trying to climb up the side of it, because the bars are vertical, not horizontal. Better to have horizontal bars on a bird cage, because then they can climb from bar to bar. So the horizontal bars are too far apart for him to like climb up easy. So then even when his feet are working fine, or his toes were gripping, he struggles to try to climb up, because like, think about it, you're trying to climb up vertical poles and you just slide as you go, so even when he was better, that was always a struggle for him. So I just had to kind of help him, but he still doesn't trust me. Like, he doesn't like hands. He's like, he'll come to me sometimes, but when I'm trying to help him, he's like, no, don't touch me. And he tries to do it himself, and then he's like flapping all over, and I'm like, oh god, you quit. So I just kind of had to help him and keep my hand underneath him so he didn't fall. Push him a little and get him to the top of his cage so he could at least sit up someplace that is flat enough, that he at least can grip onto a little better. Poor thing. So he's okay. He'll be all right. Well, he's not going to be all right, honestly. Like, I don't think we're going to do the best we can so it makes moving around for him a little bit easier, but just based on the way he's been the last couple of days, getting worse, falling more. He'll be sitting on a flat perch and he's perfectly fine, and then you hear a thunk because he just fell, and it's like, he's definitely not doing good, but gonna do the best we can for him in what's left of his little life. Just I don't want to talk about it anymore because I will cry, because I spent all of this morning. I was gonna record over lunch and I was like, I can't, because I was just sobbing because I'm like looking at this poor little bird, like just sitting there looking all sad and like struggling so much that I'm like, and there's nothing I can do at the moment aside from like, or I'm like, I ordered a bunch of stuff, but I'm like, it's not going to be here till maybe tomorrow, the next day. So I'm like, over the next couple days, we're going to take the cage apart, redo it, make it like handicap accessible for him, just to make his life a little bit easier, lower the cage so if he falls, it's not as big of a deal. I mean, it's still going to be a big of a deal, but it's like, the cage is tall, so like now it's a farther fall. It's going to get more injured, so just do the best we can for him. So I'm like, yeah, so then I'm going to come up here and be like, we're going to play this game. If I had played this part earlier today, I would have been sobbing hysterically. So now I'm just in denial right now. So that's why I'm not probably as sad as I should be about this, because I'm like, I am blocking all my emotions right now. So good Lord. Oh God. I mean, by the time you see this part, who knows how he is, if he's still around, because, I'm like a month ahead, so hopefully when you see this, he's fine and he's okay and he's managing with his flat perches and stuff. But anyway, let's not talk about sad things. Let's go back to playing this trauma dump of a game, because that'll make us feel better. Yeah, this is a poor choice today. Anyway. You might not think so, but I have good reason to glare at you. Even if you implanted false memories in his mind, Mathis looked up to and loved Camille and Jean like brothers. You don't feel anything looking at him like this? Not at all. I mean, I'm the one who put his memories and feelings together. He shrugged as if he couldn't care less. Camille scratched his head as if annoyed. Nothing I said would get through to him. I grabbed one of the weapons near me that he must have used to kill the prostitutes. I take it you'll beat me up and free Mathis from my experiments? Oh, girl, do it. I hope the Salvation End is doing that. Fuck yeah. I don't want to kill Jean, but you know what? I know Jean was just a persona. I'm okay with just stabbing Camille. Let's do it. Because in my mind, I'm going to separate out Jean and Camille, and I'm going to pretend that Camille locked Jean in the basement and took over his personality and his life, and poor Jean's over there like, I'm innocent in this whole thing. Yeah. They just happened to look alike, and Camille put on a Jean wig and uniform and pretended he was him. Yeah, that's it. That's absolute. It's not the same person. It's two different people, and Camille is just pretending to be our precious butler Jean. Listen, I'm having a rough time. I can do whatever I want, and even if everything were going swimmingly, I can do what I want. Anyway, go right ahead and free Mathis if you like, but he'll die. Huh? Well, I mean, I kind of feel like all of our boyfriends are gonna die, so. Also, despair ends, so yeah, I expected that. Camille scoffed at me, saying that the same would happen if he was captured by the Corps. I pretty much created him from scratch as a homunculus. It means that he's not very stable. Homunculus! A human-like creature! Ouch. That seems so. You're like, oh, insulting. The burn. One can be created using embryonic cells and downloading memories into their brain. Yeah, so he's a bunch of. Mathis is literally a bunch of dead babies. That is. I'm. In fact, even now his genes are noticing something wrong with his memories and are eating away at his sanity. So every night I extend his life by downloading new memories into him to fool his genes. He chuckled as if expecting me to understand. Which means that in order for Mathis to continue living, his dear brother has to continue treating him as a test subject for these experiments. But if Cyan finds out, then. Well, I guess he could take over. After all, the technology I developed is hardly more than child's play to him. It's nice of you to speak nice of my boyfriend. But do you seriously think he'd give a test subject, and a homunculus at that, same rights as a normal person? Probably not. Alright, you got me there. Either the tests continue, or he dies. Which would explain why he didn't move forward with creating homunculus subjects, despite having the know-how. Bill gloated as if he attained victory. Mathis and I couldn't say a word. What he was saying might be a ruse to escape the situation. But even so, I gave up and let go of the knife. No matter how slim the possibility might be, I couldn't go against him and risk Mathis's death. They can still have a happy life under the control of Jamil. Hours later, apparently Adolphe and the others learned that we went missing and immediately set out to find our whereabouts. Camille told us with a smile how he told them that he didn't know where we went. But because Mathis was chasing after Boro before he went missing, they didn't see Camille as a suspect when he invited Adolphe and the others over to the mansion. Oh God! He's not going to kill everybody, is he? Similar to the missing prostitutes, they expected Boro to be at fault for our own disappearance. I hope he doesn't kill them all. Listen, I can't handle it. Oh, hi. Look at you in your new, just in your shirt. Not your, like, why is his arm so long? It goes down to his knees. I like it. I like your little corset vest going on there. It's sexy. Anyway, listen, I know he's a psychopath, but I still see Jean when he's like this. Man, I know I was the one who set everything up, but I'm starting to feel bad that Boro's getting blamed for everything. Then again, Mathis did give him a good stab, so I guess he's not in any shape to come here and complain. He wondered aloud why Boro got so rattled while fighting Mathis. Neil tilted his head visibly as if thinking, but didn't say another word. And suddenly, yeah, look at his little corset going on. Sexy. See, I mean, I'm just saying, I know he's a psycho, but just look at him as our butler Jean. It's hot. God damn. Let her go free. She has nothing to do with reviving Rosalie, so please. Rather than criticizing Camille, Mathis lowered his head and pleaded for my safe release. Yeah, but we have a womb and I don't trust, God, please don't. Please don't. Not like this. The game's gonna go there somewhere, but not like this. Oh God, it's gonna be worse if they go there, isn't it? Like, if they go if it's going to be one of our love interests or something. Please don't. Instead of like, oh no. What if it's Hugo? No, you can't. You never mind. I can't handle that. That's not. Is that one of the trigger warnings? Is that one of the trigger warnings? I just assumed. I just assumed in my memory that it is because violence, gore, genocide, murder, torture, drugging, brainwashing, suicide, verbal and physical abuse, cult and mob mentality, decapitation, body horror, and scenes involving obsession with a minor. That's not in here. Oh, thank God. Okay. At least, or Otome Kitten forgot. But I can't imagine with that long list of shit that assaults like that would be missed. I gotta be honest, can we just take a step back for a second? I'm kind of surprised that a game with this much trauma and shit doesn't include that. Were they like, yeah, come on, that's been done in a ton of other games. There's always that, when you got drama games, they throw that in a little too often. I mean, let's be real. It's happened several times in other games, so it's not like it's an uncommon phenomenon. It's not that it's super common, but it's not common. Not common, but it's also not uncommon to the point where one game has it, and you're like, what? You're like, oh, again? Okay, sure. All right. It's happened, a handful of times at least. So I'm just really surprised that they didn't do it here. They were like, we got to draw the line somewhere. Like really? With all the other shit, I'm just, listen, I'm surprised is all I'm saying, okay? I am surprised that they left any kind of horrific thing out of this. Aside from like end of the world scenario, because like that would be a good thing in this game, I think. Oh no. Sorry, but I can't do that. At least I feel okay that he's not going to assault me like that and try to impregnate me for baby cells. Oh god. I'll need her cooperation in my experiments to help make you a better human. Oh, this is what's... Oh, is it how... Oh. And she isn't pregnant. And she doesn't have any memories that could contribute to Rosalie's... Mathis, don't give him ideas! You're kidding. She's the greatest contributor ever for helping you develop love in your unstable state. If anything, I owe her too much to harm her. But you just might. There's actually one other problem with replicating Rosalie's memory. It's whether Rosalie will return to her original state where she loved me. I can't bear to see her return as a reliver without any memories of being with me. I gotta be honest, like, there's a part of me that's like, you kind of deserve that, though. Like, you bring her back and then she doesn't love you, and like, you kind of deserve that. He went on to explain that he purposely implanted horrible memories based on feelings of love. Hatred. Oh, I was reading the background and it says it. Hatred. Sorrow. You can't see it now. Fear. He set those up so he could confirm whether such powerful emotions could properly transfer to the memory. Camille then continued. Well, it did. But I can see now why Cyan Broface has such problems with emotions of love. I gave you a mix of my memories and some other guys. They didn't seem to take. I was this close to just terminating you. But you were able to escape that fate because of her. Eureka! You found that emotion of love after all, Mathis. Now the odds of replicating my beloved Rosalie's memories are much higher. I must admit, I am happy I was brutally murdered, even if it was only a false memory. I like how they switch every once in a while back to Jean. He spoke ecstatically as he looked at us with crazed eyes. I was certain that he couldn't see us in front of him, only the image of his past happiness. But just because you fell in love once doesn't mean my experiment is a success. After all, true success comes from changing the conditions and replicating the results over and over again, right? Suddenly, Camille grabbed Mathis by the neck and slammed him on top of the lab table. What are you? Before I could react, Camille touched a strange device to Mathis's neck to download memories into his mind. He plugged one of the cords in and lights went on. A new memory forced its way inside. I mean, to be fair, Mathis is being, like, assaulted with memories. memories are being forced into him, so that's some kind of assault. At least it's not us. That's a horrible thing to say, but it's not. Listen, having memories implanted in you is a little different than somebody sexually assaulting you, but it's still creepy. Stop! I have a feeling this is going to go on for a while just to make it more and more traumatic, so when we finally kill him or he dies, it's like, it's not going to be as sad. It's going to be like, oh, thank God he needed that. Might be cathartic at that point. I reached out to try and stop the download, but the actual download speed was much faster than I can move. Damn. I got fiber internet here. Before I could get to him, the download was complete. A man madly seeking his lost love spoke. Starting tomorrow and each day thereafter, Mathis will experience a different person's memories. Mathis Claude 3, a homunculus created by Camille. He was a test subject in experiments exploring whether powerful emotions, such as hatred, sorrow, and fear, could be combined from other people and downloaded into a single individual. I mean, you gotta give it to him. This is a lot of work to bring back his dead girlfriend. Like, he's committed. The purpose will be to see whether he'll remember you and fall in love again without the assistance of his own memories. Now, prove to me what the power of love can do, little Mathis. Oh, is this how we live out our last remaining years? Is just getting to know Mathis again, or Mathis with quotes around it, whoever he is, and then he forgets us, and then fall in love, and then Camille erases new Mathis and gives us Oh. He gently tortured the younger brother he created himself. Gently. How do you gently torture someone? Perhaps because he had nothing more to say, or because he was happy because of the progress he made, or maybe both, Neil freed Mathis from the device. Then he left the chamber. The only ones in the room were me and Mathis, who was looking down at the floor. He was within reach, but for some reason my instincts were telling me not to touch him now. In fact, it was possible that nothing I said would help the situation. I had to find a way to stop Camille, but it wasn't physically binding here. He was simply taking Mathis's life hostage through threats. Taking action without a plan would only bring about the worst results. I tried to think of something as time slowly passed in the silence of the room. Then suddenly, escape. A voice no different from a whisper. It was barely audible, but I could see him looking straight into my eyes. Next time, Jean, no, Will returns. I'll do what I can to draw his attention. Once he's distracted, escape and seek help from Eve and the others, Spacey. Or the Royal Guard. And the Institute will act if they find out what Camille has been doing. They'll come here and destroy the lab, so you'll be safe too. But I can't do that. If I do that, you're going to die. Mathis shook his head. He seemed to accept that outcome. It's fine. After all, just a fake human created through others' sacrifices. My life isn't valuable enough to put yours at risk. It's not true. No matter what, I want you to live. It didn't matter if he was a human, a reliver, or a homunculus. Mathis, say that you love me. Even the sincere emotions that I felt for you. Just fake emotions given to me by someone else. That's not true, because he couldn't make those happen, so you made it happen. For a moment, I didn't know what he was telling me. What do you mean? Every time I felt this warm feeling when I thought about you. That's worse than if you die. You're like, my feelings for you weren't real. Oh! That hurts more than if you just died. Oh! Oh, okay, I remember this. Okay. Rosalie, okay. See, I told you it was a button or some shit. It was a plug. Is this another one of your pranks? You're always up to some mischief. Okay, yeah, that makes sense now. Image of a woman with beautiful golden hair would appear, but that was someone who looked like you and nothing more. The image I saw in my mind was the person sleeping in that tank, Camille's lover, Rosalie. Camille's memories were implanted into Mathis's mind too? If that was true, then seeing me completely frozen, Mathis forced a weak, sad smile. What I'm trying to say, right? The reason I probably fell in love with you was because we're very similar to the woman in my memories. So the love I felt for you was for someone else all this time. The words were heartbreaking. I know that might make me sadder. I couldn't stop my tears from flowing. I had to stop. Mathis, who was betrayed of everything he believed in, was the one who should be crying. Seeing my tears, Mathis gently wiped them away. Which is why you should abandon such an awful person and escape from here. I don't need sympathy or guilt. I just want you to find someone who loves you for who you are. I want you to find true happiness, Spacey. His slowly uttered words of deep sorrow and acceptance. I understood well enough what Mathis was trying to say. Considering what Camille said, I couldn't deny that it made sense, but really? Are the feelings Mathis had for me really manufactured all along? Well, that's proof right there that you can manufacture feelings, so I'm just saying Cyan might actually take him in. His embarrassed look. I mean, it wasn't, but the courage he displayed. His tears. They were all artificial? No. That can't be true. That can't be true? Tim, god damn it. No matter how hard Mathis tried to deny his existence, I can't do that. Huh? My heart was telling me to push back. The pulse that existed in his chest was, without a doubt, his very own. I don't want to force myself to fall in love with someone besides you. So please don't give up. I want you to live. That's such a cruel thing for me to wish. I moved closer to him and held his hand. Terribly cold. His body wasn't very warm to begin with, but I could tell it was worse now. I gently led both of his hands to my cheeks, placed his hands over my cheeks so that I could share my warmth with him. Cradled his hands with mine so that he couldn't move them away. The memories you have and the emotions that were born from them may not be yours, but what about the memories and emotions after you met death? In all the memories that you inherited, has there been any other woman capable of spreading misfortune like me? What? That's not true, but this was not our fault. We did not have anything to do with this misfortune. I'm just saying, girl. I've brought misfortune to so many people as death, so I used to think, if only it were someone else's fault, or if only it happened so far away that no one would blame me. In this case, it's someone else's fault, and it's kind of no one should blame you, so. I wished for things that would let me shift the responsibility elsewhere. I think that's okay. But you kept thinking about others, and you don't even realize how much you lose. And if you're dead, you're the kindest person I've ever met. If that's the case, then your opinion of me is a unique part of your memory that didn't come from anyone else's memories. If I could somehow stop him from clinging to the word fake, I would say whatever I needed to. Was there ever a person who wrote a story with death? Was there ever a person who confessed his feelings to her so lovingly? I doubt you can find anyone else who has, even if you looked all over the world. But Mathis's expression twisted into a frown. The proof of our bond. A novel. It was stolen from Amelie Claude. We can rewrite the story. This time you and I can be the characters who confess their love. If we do that, it's proof that the memories you've shared with death or only those you can call your own. Oh, his little pained crying face. CG, can't write a new story. Because I'm gonna become a different person who won't remember who you are. Memories entered from the mark on his neck. They slowly encroached upon his mind, with lights gradually spreading across his body. I understand what you're telling me. I know you're a kind death. And I know the warm feelings I have are my own, not inherited from someone else. No, I don't want to. I don't want to forget you. I don't want to lose the love I feel for you. I've never been so scared of the future. Future literally being hours, not days, I hugged him with all my might as he sought salvation. Yeah, but we ain't getting that here. Sorry, but I don't want to lose a future where we can be together. Because you've cherished the memories you've made with death. And I love you. There. I said it. All this time. Told myself I didn't have the right to say it. The most precious, fleeting emotion in the world. Cornered him with my feelings despite knowing that he feared losing anymore. I was patched together in a series of horrible experiments. Aren't you afraid of me? Neither human nor reliver. It doesn't matter to me. Whatever your past was, I love you for who you are now. Stop it, it's so adorable. Then I'll do my best. Huh? Do you remember what Camille said earlier? That he wanted me to prove the power of my love. Understanding his meaning, my expression stiffened. I then embraced him, and Mathis held me tightly in return this time. A hug so strong that it seemed he wanted me to remember his warmth. Starting tomorrow, I'll live out a different life every day. I'll probably forget what we spoke about. No, perhaps even your appearance and your name. Perhaps his personality was fading again as he didn't speak the name he was soon to forget. So, I'll do my best. Each time I'm reborn, continue to prove that I still love you. So in turn, trust that I will love you, regardless of who I become. He was shaking horribly. His voice was frail and weak. Still, he was showing determination stronger than anyone in the world. His voice, his smile. This is our kiss. Those were enough for me to trust him. I responded, not with words, but a kiss. Careful, yet firmly. A kiss that I could only give to Mathis. I savored the moment so that neither of us would ever forget. A simple kiss. The first and last kiss that I would share with Mathis Claude. No, I mean, you knew, but you didn't have to say it, game. Hey, morning, Mathis Claude. You've woken up on a new day to a new life. Violence. This man was someone unreasonable, constantly spitting upon the weak when he was in a bad mood. You really get on my nerves, bitch. Oh, that's worse than him forgetting us too. He's, oh, he forgot everything and now he hates us. Oh. He slammed the hilt of his knife right onto my temple. I fell to the floor with thin lines of blood spilling down my face. I tried to speak to him the moment he woke up, but he was already irritated with me. It was the only reason he needed to resort to violence. Anytime he felt displeasure, it seemed to grow in his hands before he struck me. Punched, kicked, and stomped on me. The only reason he didn't use the knife in his hand to kill me was because he must have known he was under the control of the man with a camera in his hand, leaning against the wall. What's with that look on your face? What is it? Are you mocking me? When his knife broke, he used his fists. He did what he could to vent his frustrations on me, just stopping short of going too far. Violence stopped. It seemed like he punched me so hard that the skin on his knuckles peeled. I somehow managed to stand, slowly walked toward him as he still fumed with anger. Using a piece of fabric torn from my skirt, I wrapped his wounded hand. Doing? Bandaging you. Your hands are special. Need them to write your novel. Can't take any chances. The hell are you talking? He raised his other hand to swing down on me for speaking nonsense, but seeing that I wasn't cowering or trying to run, he lowered his fist in confusion. Oh? He continued to use violence against me over trivial matters as the day went on, and I had no peace until the night was over. I kind of find it interesting, though, that Camille's doing this on a daily basis. Like, switching his personality every day, because, like, a new personality every day erases everything. But you want to see if the information underneath is going to resurface, so you've got to give it time to, like, you've got this new angry personality and see if that love can come out from underneath that. You know what I mean? Like, flower's not going to break through a goddamn sidewalk without making a crack first. It's got to crack and then it's going to grow out. You know what I mean? That's what you want, but it's going to take time. So I'm surprised he doesn't, like, leave the personalities for, like, let's see what happens, and then, like, you know what, this evil, angry, violent personality was in there for a week and then the love broke through. Okay, let's try something new. You know what I mean? Like, a day? That seems, I mean, I get it. They're probably just speed rushing it for the purpose of the game, but they could have said a week passed with it violent and then he started to feel, you know? I don't know. But it felt as if his strength was weakening little by little. Because that's not enough. Like obviously he showed, like, restraint for a moment, and that's like, huh. Anyway, next personality, like, you know, you're not, well, maybe it's just, you really should have an actual scientist be doing these experiments, Camille. Jesus! Do them right, motherfucker! Since I was a child, never been able to control thoughts or emotions. We were just a few minutes away from today's version of him falling into a deep sleep. So upset over the stupidest things. Now I know it's wrong, I can't stop myself from being violent. That's why everyone who's ever known me hates me. That's why I didn't expect you to actually worry about the fist I used against you. Should I not have worried? He shook his head quietly. I might not want to hear it, but I think I might love you. Damn! Mathis's love is so intense it popped through that. Alright, listen, okay. That seems the most unfeasible thing here, but alright, sure. That's great to hear. And with that, he closed his eyes. I quietly said goodnight to today's Mathis as he drifted off. Not a bad start. I can't believe you actually got that asshole to say that he loves you. Actually, I was expecting you to cry and hate his guts. Did you purposely choose him? I don't have a reason to cry. I feel like I don't have a reason to cry is the right answer. Like, I don't have a reason because he loves me even though you made that asshole. But did you purposely choose him is a stupid answer because it's like, duh. Of course he did. You know what I mean? All right, well. Save file 2, bitches. Okay. All right, so, it's I don't have a reason to cry. I figured that would be the right answer. All right, well. I don't have a reason to cry. After all, I already made my decision that I'd stay by his side no matter what. Think it's worth encouraging a useless man like that? As long as he tells me he loves me before he goes, I can love Mathis no matter his personality. I assume you want to capture our despair on that camera of yours. Too bad. This man has you trapped in a dungeon, and he's making your boyfriend torture you, and you're like, yeah, you want to see my despair? Fuck off, bitch. Nice. Girl, high five. I love it. Let's see how long you can keep that up. Well, you just sit tight and enjoy what kind of person Mathis will be tomorrow. Unless he actually kills me, I can handle it. After Camille left, with my whole body aching from pain, I brushed away Mathis's hair from his cheek. He looked so at peace that it was hard to believe what he did earlier. Thank you for doing your best like you promised. I was very happy to hear your rough side tell me that you love me. I gently kissed him on the eyelids to thank him before going to sleep by his side. Self-protection. I think we're like at time, so like this is like a new scene. So self-protection. We're gonna start that person. And so I have a feeling this is gonna drag on. I don't mean that like it sounds bad, drag on. But I mean, I have a feeling they're gonna drag this out, the torture, because like if it had just ended here, oh my god, he tortures us and then we're gone, and the ending happened, you'd be like, okay, it's traumatic, but it'd be okay. But they're just gonna dig it in and jam it in, and like, this is your life. Do you get it? And you're like, I get it. And they're like, no, you don't. And they're just gonna keep doing it, and you're like, would you just stop already? So like, I have a feeling this is gonna go on for a little bit, just to drag out the despair part. You know what I mean? So. But anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.